Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast. And today I'm going to go over some news and rumors specifically about WWE. Now, if you guys watched Saturday night's main event, I did not. But again, it was a newsworthy show. Some of the things I even predicted that was going to happen for that show ended up happening. Drew McIntyre not winning the Universal Championship. We also had CM Punk, which I didn't want either one of them to win the title, CM Punk or Jey Uso, but CM Punk was successful in the match against Jey Uso and becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion. But that's not why we're here. News broke during the weekend that John Cena, everybody's been talking about John Cena. What is John Cena doing next? Who's going to be his next opponent? Who's going to be John Cena's last opponent? Well, there was a commercial that was played during Saturday night's main event that was provided by, obviously, WWE. And in that commercial, it was John Cena talking about, what he's done in professional wrestling, how he got started in WWE, most notably the match that John Cena had when he faced off against Kurt Angle and announced Ruthless Aggression. It looks like John Cena's going in that same direction for his last match. It seems as if WWE and John Cena have pretty much announced that for John Cena's last opponent, there will be a 16-man tournament. Now, in that tournament, the winner of that tournament we'll face John Cena in John Cena's last match, which is a huge accolade for anybody that does win this tournament to face off against John Cena in John Cena's last match, man. It's definitely a tip of the hat, if you will, in someone's career. Now, with that being said, it's already been announced from John Cena that in this tournament we will have superstars from both Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and John Cena even mentioned some wrestlers that don't even wrestle or wrestle outside the confines of WWE. Now, this has a lot of people talking. A lot of people have already brought up some AEW names like Adam Copeland and Chris Jericho. So, I want to talk about those two names right off the rip. Do I believe that Adam Copeland or Chris Jericho will be some of the guys in this tournament to be John Cena's last opponent? No, I do not. As far as I'm concerned, Chris Jericho is still tied to a contract with AEW until the end of December. So he is not going to be a part of this tournament. Adam Copeland, I don't see Adam Copeland being in this tournament nor going back to WWE. I just do not see it. I think Copeland, as of right now, Copeland's probably going to ride off into the sunset with his career in AEW. I could be wrong on that, but the way things are shaping up for him in AEW, as far as Copeland is concerned, I don't see him being a part of this 16-man tournament to be the final opponent for John Cena. Now, with that being said, with some outside names, we can also mention some names that currently or do work with TNA. Obviously, there's a big working relationship here between WWE and TNA, and there are some names that do spark interest if we're talking about outside names that technically do not work in the confines of WWE, even though TNA does work with WWE. It's not WWE. Some of those names that popped in my head from TNA that would be suitable, competitors in this tournament. Obviously, number one that popped in my head was Joe Hendry. I think Joe Hendry is a guy that obviously WWE has interest in. They want to bring him over to the main roster in WWE. He's had a match in WWE or matches, whether it's NXT or most specifically the match that he had against Randy Orton at WrestleMania. It got a lot of people talking about Joe Hendry. And Joe Hendry has a humongous backing from the fans. And he's immensely over with the fans, 100%. Other names that are interesting in TNA, another name that kind of, sparked interest as far as being John Cena's final opponent, Nick Nemeth, a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler. I think bringing in, Nemeth to challenge John Cena or be John Cena's final opponent, it's not that bad of a match, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously, Dolph Ziggler or Nemeth used to wrestle in the confines of WWE. So, again, Nemeth would be another good name to wrestle in this 16-man tournament. Mustafa Ali, I don't know what his contract looks like right now with TNA. He's another name that I wouldn't mind to be a part of this 16-man tournament. Mike Santana, again, would not be a bad match to go up against John Cena, as far as TNA talents are concerned. Now, if we're looking at the aspects of NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, there's a lot of names in this tournament that if I had to pick the 16 people to be a part of this tournament, there's a lot of very good names that can go in this tournament to be the final opponent for John Cena. This is the thing too. because this tournament was basically announced and that we're going to have matches in this tournament pretty much leading us into John Cena's final match for Saturday night's main event in DC, obviously matches are going to span over the next couple months from now until we get till December. So my thing is with WWE, they can strike the iron where the iron's hot with this. And what I mean by that is this could be probably the one, if not one of the best tournaments that we've seen in the States for a very long time. Especially with the amount of talent that WWE has, the fact that they can also work with TNA, they could possibly also work with AAA. I know some people really don't want to see AAA talent in this tournament, but they're also working with AAA. So there's a lot of notable names that can be slotted into this tournament. To me, if I was WWE, I'd go all out. I would not be playing this safe at all. For abundance of reasons. Number one, you have the talent right now. And a lot of very good talent right now that are really not doing jack shit. Number one. Number two, surprises or returns. Gunther would also be a great name to return back to WWE and be in this tournament. Honestly, Gunther, to me, if he does return back to WWE, he has to be one of the favorites to win the tournament if he's in it, to be the final opponent to John Cena. I thought Gunther was just automatically going to be John Cena's final opponent before this announcement was announced. But if Gunther's in this tournament, Gunther has to be one of the favorites to win this 16-man tournament to be John Cena's final opponent. You also have the likes of LA Knight. LA Knight versus John Cena in DC for John Cena's final opponent. LA Knight's another top name on my list if he's going to be a part of this tournament, and he should be. Drew McIntyre. McIntyre should also be in this tournament. McIntyre right now ain't doing shit. And I told you guys my thoughts on McIntyre. And it's the same thing how I feel about LA Knight. WWE really doesn't know what to do with the likes of a McIntyre and LA Knight. They just don't. But to have, like I said earlier, this match with John Cena is kind of a tip to the cap, if you will, for an individual's career. You're John Cena's final opponent. It's a big monumental moment for that individual's career to be John Cena's final opponent. Absolutely. And it's definitely a Hall of Fame moment for that individual for sure. So LA Knight's on my list. Drew McIntyre's also on that list, bro, because I told you guys, man, WWE doesn't really know what to do with Drew McIntyre, clearly. I mean, you saw McIntyre against Cody Rhodes. McIntyre was unsuccessful, and Rhodes walks out still Universal Champion like I had predicted. They don't know what to do with Drew McIntyre. McIntyre needs to be in this tournament. He needs to be in this tournament. He needs to be a heavy favorite in this tournament. Absolutely. So I put McIntyre in this. I mean, I would load this tournament up. Another name that's also been floating around, the people that I've talked to, who could be in this another person that could be in this tournament that can make a solid run. And I know I made comments about, brought up his name a lot, is Obafemi. And I know some of you guys are like, man, you brought up Obafemi a lot. He's going to be in the U.S. Open Challenge or this, that, and the third, or he's going to be a part of the Vision. Bro, Obafemi hasn't done shit as of late in NXT. I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know if they're going to call him up. There was rumors that he was going to get called up to the main roster. This will be one of those times where if you're going to put him in the main roster without a severe storyline to bring him in and a more easier way to bring him in, I would put Obafemi in this tournament. Could you imagine Obafemi versus Gunther? Obafemi versus LA Knight. Obafemi versus Drew McIntyre. I mean, these are solid matches. And if I was WWE, I would not be playing this tournament safe. I wouldn't. I would not be pumping my brakes on this. I would be putting the who's who of superstars in this tournament. Solo Sikoa possibly, Drew McIntyre, LA Knight. I would put the who's in this tournament. 100%. Obafemi, maybe Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed. Sure. In this tournament, absolutely. That's going to span from multiple different brands. You're talking Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and even, like John Cena said, wrestlers that are not technically working with WWE or in WWE. Matt Cardona is another name that could be added to this tournament to be John Cena's final opponent. The Miz. Obviously, there's a lot of history there between The Miz and John Cena. Was one of John's biggest rivals. Put him in the tournament. Randy Orton also should be in this tournament right now. Randy Orton's not doing shit. I don't know if he's injured or he's taking time off. I would put Randy Orton in this tournament as well. I would absolutely load this tournament up. Sheamus, absolutely. Miro or Rusev, put him in the tournament. There's history there between John Cena and Rusev. Put him in the tournament. I would stack the deck with this tournament. Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, like I said, man, WWE can strike gold with this tournament. This 16-man tournament could be the best tournament we've seen in the States for a very long time. If they do it correctly, I would say AEW's Owen Hart tournament and their Continental Classics wouldn't even hold a candle to this tournament if WWE does it correctly. And you bring in household names, and not bullshit names, but you bring household names into this tournament. Gunther, McIntyre, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Oba Femi. Yeah, maybe Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker. Sure. I mean, they can really stack the deck with this tournament, man. This could be the best tournament in the States that we've seen for a very long time. And I'm hoping that WWE does do the right thing by making this tournament just an absolutely must-see across all three brands, man. It's must-see because people want to know who's going to win, who's going to lose, and who's still in this tournament. It gets people's attention and people intrigued with WWE's product. It's great from all fronts. People want to watch Raw to see who wins, on SmackDown, on NXT, because people want to follow who wins in this tournament. You know what I mean? WWE can strike the iron where the iron's hot with this, man. And I think John making this announcement, number one, class act by John Cena. And two, John's given somebody the opportunity to not only be his final opponent, but John giving back, I feel like, to a certain superstar by being their, having them as their final opponent. I mean, look what Kurt Angle did for John Cena when John came into the business, man. Nobody even knew who the hell John Cena was. When he came in, he wasn't the doctor of thugonomics. He wasn't the John Cena that we all knew now. He was green as grass, bro, from OVW. He came in, debuted on SmackDown, pretty much an open challenge, if you will, from Kurt Angle, one of the best, and almost gave Kurt Angle a run for his money. And he earned a lot of respect being John Cena from a lot of people in the back. Undertaker, Kurt Angle himself even gave John his respect. So, I mean, it really made John what he is today in a career that's almost spanned for almost 30 years. So, whoever this person may be that will be John Cena's final opponent, it's going to be a tip of the cap in that person's career. And that when that person gets into the Hall of Fame, everybody's going to talk about the fact that, oh, man, that was John Cena's last opponent. These are the memories and the moments that I was talking about with pro wrestling. Everybody is going to remember, if they do it correctly, John Cena's last match. Just because of how much that John meant to the business. The fact that he's had an elaborate career for almost 30 years. I mean, a lot of people are going to remember John's last match at Saturday Night's Main Event in Washington, D.C. Especially his opponent. They're going to remember who faced John Cena in his last match. So this just opens up a lot more doors for a lot more individuals within the main roster or NXT specifically to give them a little bit of the spotlight, a little bit, and kind of put them in a different echelon over a lot of other talent. But I feel like this tournament should be brutal. This tournament should be ruthless, man, to be honest with you. And we should have some household names for this tournament. I mentioned a couple names earlier, man. LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Solo Sikoa, possibly Oba Femi. Absolutely. Gunther. Yeah, I would, Dominic Mysterio possibly. I would stack the deck for this tournament. And if they do it correctly, and it might be far-fetched for me saying this, but I'm going to stay on this hill by myself, man. It will surpass anything that AEW has done tournament-wise, for sure. Absolutely. Better than the Owen, better than the Continental Classic tournaments. This tournament here, to be John Cena's last opponent, WWE can strike gold. Absolutely. It's going to be must-see television, for sure. And when this was announced over the weekend, man, I was excited. I was 100% excited because now it's something where we might see debuts, we might see returns, we might see really, really good matches between superstars in this tournament to find out who will be the guy that faces John Cena for his last match. Penta, I would also put Penta in there. Sheamus, absolutely. Hell, even Dragunov, I would put him in the tournament as well. Absolutely. Even though he does the open challenges on Saturday and it's the best thing going on SmackDown, I would not be against putting Dragunov in the tournament at all. At all. And people are like, oh, what if he loses? The United States Championship is not on the line, man. And the thing of it is, with Dragunov, people say, well, if he loses, it makes him look weak. Not really, because if you honestly think about it, he's having open challenges for these titles, man. Anything can happen. I mean, Christ, bro, you can say the same thing about Sami Zayn when he lost the title to Dragunov. When Dragunov returned and pretty much beat the hell out of Sami Zayn and became the new United States champion. When at that time, up to that point, we haven't seen Dragunov in over a year. So anything can happen. I don't think it's going to make Dragunov look any weak or anything if he loses in a tournament, being the United States champion. Considering the fact that the only way he defends that title is by open challenges. You know what I mean? So again, he can lose the title with an open challenge, or lose in an open challenge, or lose in a tournament. I don't think it really matters in that aspect, to be honest. You know, and like I said, man, there's certain guys or certain individuals in WWE right now that are really not doing shit. LA Knight, yeah. Drew McIntyre, yeah. Randy Orton, yeah. I mean, there's some history there between Randy Orton and John Cena as well. Have they had a match since John's return? Yeah. Was it John's best match that he's had since he's been back on this retirement tour? No. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the best. But there's history there between Orton and Cena. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And to me, I think they should put Orton in this tournament. If he's healthy and he's ready to go and they have nothing for him creatively, put him in the tournament. Absolutely. Orton McIntyre, Orton versus LA Knight. You know what I mean? Sure. Absolutely. Orton versus Gunther. Let's run that back. I mean, Gunther, this would be the prime time to have Gunther come back. Gunther versus Rusev, sign me up. Gunther versus Obafemi, if Obafemi's in the tournament, sign me up. That's what I'm saying, bro. There's a lot of good matches that are on the table for this tournament, if they do it correctly. And like I said, man, it might be far-fetched, but I think if they do it correctly, this could possibly be the best tournament in the States that we've seen in a very, very long time. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be hopefully it's put together very well, and it's not something where WWE is very hesitant to put certain names or, you know, certain people in this tournament. It should be a ruthless tournament. Honestly, it should be brutal with the names that are in this tournament, but household names that get the fans excited. I don't want to see a Tozawa or somebody from the New Day or, you know, somebody from, you know, Los Garza or some shit like that. I want to see household names in this tournament, bro. Absolutely. I don't want to see like a tag team that splits up. Oh, we're going to put them in a... No, I don't want to see that shit. I don't. Not at all. I want to see household names in this tournament. Because at the end of the day, WWE, like I said, are sitting on a gold mine. They're sitting at that. They're sitting on that wow factor right now, where they can get fans really genuinely excited about something that the fans really haven't been excited about for a very long time. If they do this correctly, absolutely. The Vision, they should be in this tournament. Whether it's I would put Braun Breaker in this tournament, 100%. Not taking anything away from Bronson Reed. I'm not taking anything away from Bronson Reed, but Braun Breaker in this tournament to be John Cena's final opponent, sure. Imagine the matches that Breaker could have in this tournament against McIntyre or Gunther or Orton. Yeah, why the hell not? Absolutely. Why not? You know what I mean? Tony D'Angelo, he's been, you know, there's been rumors of him, you know, joining the main roster. Put D'Angelo in the tournament. I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. You can do this correctly, and if you do it correctly, man, it's going to get a lot of people talking, and it's going to get a lot of fans invested in what Raw, SmackDown, and NXT are doing for the next few weeks, the next few months, for sure. So I'm definitely excited for the tournament. I don't think the names have been announced yet. I could be wrong on that. I think some of the names have been announced, but not the full 16-man tournament, for what I understand. So just giving my thought on it, man, and just telling you guys my opinion on it. I think it's a great deal for John. I think it's a great deal for WWE, and hopefully it's something that, you know, if WWE does it correctly, like I've been saying, this could be one of the best tournaments we've seen in the States for a very, very long time. Very long time. But with that being said, this is my news and rumors specifically about WWE. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful, and remember, stay classic. Peace.